All right, listen. Sometimes you just gotta do it yourself. I have talked at length in this channel about Pokemon. If you watched our Game of the Year, you'll see that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet actually ranked pretty high in our overall list. I liked it a lot, and even Tyler and Bradley liked it quite a bit. And the game is not without its problems, but we still liked it overall for it to get pretty high. So that being said, I'm the only person who finished it all the way. Um, in Because I love Pokemon so much, it's one of my favorite franchises. It feels like it wouldn't be right to do something in tandem with the release of the new game. So I thought I would come out here and rate all the new Pokemon. So this will be one of those solo missions, like when I was the only one who finished Elden Ring and I ranked all the bosses. That was actually pretty fun, and it didn't take too long. So I was like, okay, we'll try it again. I have no idea how long this will take. I haven't put that much thought into it. All I did was come on here to this tier list and change some of the tier names a little bit to fit what feels right to me. So we got the complete misses, the weak ones, the fine ones, the good ones, the great ones, the awesome ones, and a exclusive tier for the new favorites. Now this is based on both design, how fun they are to use in the game, but also because I play competitive VGC ranked, some of this will be based off of their actual mechanics and other things that they might have going for them. So let's just get into it. Let's not take too long. I don't know why this list is ranked the way it is, though. It might be in the order that they were announced to the public. I stayed away from trailers, so I came in pretty much completely blind. So I guess what we'll mostly go in this list. I might do some skips here and there. Here's the thing. We already start with like a weird case because I don't care enough to rank the Taurusos differently. I think it's cool that there's different breed of Taurusos, but I also think it's just kind of lame how the base Paldean Tauros is just Tauros but dark. I thought they could have done a little bit more with that. So I would say this is a good batch of Pokemon. Let's actually move the other Taurusos to the end of the list so I don't have to think about it too much. We'll go ahead and do Wooper as well. I think Wooper is a little weak as far as like a alternate version of Wooper goes. I guess I'm not the biggest Wooper fan to begin with. This is the cooler looking one of the two. It's just not doing very much differently, so I don't particularly feel like ranking it that much more or less. We would immediately get into starters now. We'll skip those for a little bit. We'll come back to those. Uh, oh God! And here's another fun thing. I won't remember a lot of these names. They're still not like ingrained into my mind. But this is Lechonk and this is Oinkalong, I think. Oinkalone, like cologne. Lechonk is good. Oinkalone is great. I like how they're... I think they have slightly different stats depending on the odor. Or not the odor, but the gender. And as like a result, it's actually like two different Pokemon. I think that's pretty cool. Give me a second here. I'm managing some background music. So I actually think that's like a pretty cool gimmick. I also like its design. I like how the female one particularly looks good to me. I like how the year of the pig kind of looks like stylish bangs over one of the eyes. I think that's a cool design decision. The Dunsparce. A lot of people hate this Pokemon. I think they've been expecting a little bit too much from a Dunsparce evolution. I think Dunsparce is so like goofy and lame, and I love it because of that. And I actually just love how the Dunsparce is just Dunsparce but more. It's kind of a anti-Pokemon. It's kind of there as like, hey, you've been waiting this for so long, and it's just more Dunsparce. It's so lackluster that it kind of loops around to being cool. So actually, I think that's pretty great. Oh fuck, who is this? This isn't Tarantula, right? This is the other one. Let me pull up Cerebi here. This is Tarantula, and the other one is Spidops. Okay. Tarantula is weak. You'll see, and as I'm working through this out, I have a theory that a lot of the first stage Pokemon in Gen 9 are kind of weaker for me, and some of them are straight up misses potentially, than the evolutions, where I think Spidops is pretty great. Particularly, I like how Spidops, like, makes like a string barrier, like he's Jolene from JoJo's. When you get near him, I think that's a pretty cool gimmick. So he gets to go in there despite his stats kind of sucking. Nimble, I think, is just a complete miss. I think this Pokemon looks weird. I think this gen has a bit of a problem with faces on some Pokemon, where it's like, there's just too many Pokemon where there's just no way where you can argue that this is a natural way that this Pokemon should look like. It's clearly going for a cutesy look, and once you get enough cutesy Pokemon, it starts to look a little bit artificial. And that's where Nimble kind of falls in. However, Low Kicks is a new fave. The way that its hind legs are kind of like box cutters. We're talking Gus Fring over here. We're talking like, I don't know, like it just kind of can prop up on its hind legs. It's a cool take of a grasshopper. It looks like a Sentai hero. And because of that, it definitely has become one of my new favorites. I think it gets access to good moves too. So even though its stats aren't that crazy, I had a lot of fun with it in my playthrough. What is this guy's name? This is... I know the evolution is This is Relor. Relor is not a particularly good name, and it's not a particularly good Pokemon. Whoops, you're not going yet. Relor is... It's not a miss. It's fine. It is a fine take on a dung beetle. I think what really puts it in fine is the fact that it's shiny. It's actually a texture change. This is kind of something new that they brought to Gen 9, where they're kind of taking more advantage of the 3D aspects and doing texture changes as opposed to just color changes. So, the Relor Shiny has golden dung, I guess. It's just rolling like a nugget as opposed to a ball of shit. So I think that's a cool change, and that deserves some recognition. However, Rapiska is like really interesting. What the fuck happened here? Like, there's some weird lore surrounding this Pokemon. Its dung ball evolved into this psychic orb. It's also cool gameplay-wise. It's one of the few users of that new move that heals your allies. What's it called? Like, it's not... It might be Healing Wish. It's the only one that gets that aside from Palmont. So I think that's pretty cool. And it also gets to set up Trick Room. So it's... I hope it gets to see some usage. I think it's a really cool Pokemon. Then you have Palafin. And... God, is the first one Finizen? Yes, Finizen and Palafin. You can hardly tell the difference between the two, especially in these sprites. So I'm going to move one of them down. We're just going to rank one. And we're going to rank Palafin in the new faves tier. This is a really fun Pokemon to use. It's got one of the best gimmicks in the entire franchise. So the way this works is you have to send it in and then switch it out. And once you do, Zero to Hero activates, where it transforms into a superhero, and the alternate Palafin is this weird fucked up paladin dolphin. Oh shit, here it is. So I guess I can rank them differently. I'll put them both in new faves. I like the design of both, but their overall gimmick is great. Once it becomes Zero to Hero Palafin, it's got insane stats. It's the second highest base stat in the game. So this is a legendary tier Pokemon, but you kind of have to pivot to it. I think that's pretty neat. I actually use it in my ranked games. I like doing rain teams. I'm, of course, a big fan of water types and water powers and media in general. So, of course, I'm trying to run a rain team, and Palafin just works really well. It also gets the signature move Jet Punch, which is a 60 base power signature move. A 60 base power priority move. A lot of priority moves are usually 40. So a little bit stronger. You throw that shit in the rain, potentially with a choice band, and it's incredibly high attack stat, and it's super fun to use, and the gimmick is incredible. So I'm actually gonna put it at the top here at new faves. Ooh, you got Houndstone's the evolution, and Grievard is the pre-evolution. Both of them are awesome. I'll put Houndstone a little bit above. What makes this line special is they get access to Sand Rush, I believe, which lets them move fast in the sands, so that they got that going for them. And they got the signature move Last Respects, which is a move that's utilizing something new that Pokemon's trying, where they have these moves and these abilities that are based off how many Pokemon in your team have died. So the way this works is it gets more base power based on the amount of Pokemon that died. Now, because Pokemon's designed to be played in VGC, your team only has 4 at any given time, so it'll only get 3 extra boosts. In singles, this thing is probably a nightmare. I think it got banned, actually, along with Palafin, where you could get up to 5 Pokemon dead on your team and get a bunch of extra boosts based on that. Who's next? Flittle, I think, is weak. It's a little chick, but it's like, I don't know, it looks like a fucking cupcake. Don't like it. Esparthra. Oh, man. This is a cool ostrich Pokemon. Way cooler than Dodrio. It looks like Cleopatra. It's got a really cool ability in Opportunist, which lets it copy opponent's stat boosts. I hope to get to see it more. I hope to find a good rental team that has one, so I can try it without spending a bunch of hours making a team. Ooh, it's bordering new fave. I think it's really good. I'm going to put it in awesome right now, top of awesome, and that might change later. Faraffarig's a new fave. I've always liked Faraffarig. This is a sick evolution where the tail's overtaken the head. It's also kind of interesting and competitive. It's got Trick Room. It's got access to screens. It's got an ability that stops priority moves, which are very popular with Fake Out, Jet Punch, Quick Attack, Extreme Speed, all that. So it's both fun to use, and I think it looks dope. Wiglet and Wug Trio, right? I'm gonna put Wiglet in a miss. I just don't like how this thing looks. But I will put Wug Trio in fine. And the thing that saves Wug Trio is the fact that it's in a coral reef. That just makes it a little bit cooler than Diglett as a result. I like that altercation. This thing kind of sucks. It gets gooey as an ability, which is pretty fun. It lowers speed of things that make contact with it. So it gets a little bit of a saving grace there. Managing some music here. We'll play that one. You could tell I was completely unprepared for this. We'll save Dodonzo for a little bit later. Let's do Veluza, whatever this thing is. I think this is a great Pokemon. Psychic, water. I think its main drawing force is its move Fillet Away. Now, what the fuck does Fillet Away do? Hold on. Bear with me here. Veluza. I got a second monitor where I'm looking up these things' names. A Fillet Away. The user sharply boosts its attack, special attack, and speed by using its own HP. So I think it cuts half of its HP to give itself a bunch of stat boosts. That's pretty cool. I don't think it gets abilities that will make it very useful to pair with it. It gets Mold Breaker and Sharpness. Sharpness increases the power of slicing moves, so I guess you could use that new Aqua Cutter move. That's pretty cool. I've yet to see a team use this thing, and its stats aren't terrible, as I recall. Side note, I kind of want to see if I can cook something with this guy up. I'm very slow with team building. I think Pokemon's very grindy to make teams, so I usually just use rentals. But maybe there's some hope for this guy. I actually quite like it, and I'm going to move it to the top of great. Smoliv is cute. It's good. It's fine. What is the second evolution called? This is Dolliv. Dolliv is cute and fine. I like it more than Smoliv. Now, the one that sticks out... What the fuck? Where is my mouse? Good Christ. We'll put it up here. Now, Arboliva's kind of sick. Not only does it look incredible, which is crazy for something that's this early in the game, like grass types won out this time, but also it gets the new ability where I think it's called Seed Sower, where if it gets hit, it drops grass terrain, which is a little bit different from Grassy Surge. Just like you switch in and you put grass down. Seed Sower lets you do it late, where it does it based on hits, so you can kind of play it a little different. It's also super bulky. It's got 109 special defense and 125 special attack and 90 defense. So it's really tanky. It's actually quite good. This is a really great Pokemon. Like it a lot. Capsicid looks fucking weird, man. Like, it's a weird... Like, you know those eggs that aren't fully embryoed yet? Like, it looks like a weird egg embryo that's not fully ready to hatch, but it's out in the world, just ready to be a menace. However, Skullvillain is awesome. It's Firegrass. It's got a cool, unique move. You kind of have to play around it. It boosts your attack and defense, I want to say. No, your attack and speed at the cost of, like, your defenses. So you throw it on an ally, and if you give that ally a clear amulet, or if it has, what's it called, clear body, it doesn't have to deal with the negative side effects, so it's pretty cool there. Its typing is great, its design is great. It's a hot chili pepper, come on. That's kind of what I expected the fire starter to be, but alas. I think this is Tad Bulb. Let's see. We got Tad Bulb and Belly Bolt. This suffers from the goofy face syndrome. I'm going to put it in weak. And Belly Bolt goes in fine. It's got an interesting shape. I like the electrical face versus the big fake eyes on the side. It's got a cool ability with electromorphosis. I don't think it'll get that much use. It's a fine Pokemon. I'll put it in the top of fine. Move Trio up as well. I don't like this guy. This is a miss. This is, oh god, what do you call it? Vavroom and Revavroom. So, Vavroom, I think, just looks weird. It's got its stupid fucking mouth. I just don't like it. Revavroom looks cool, and I like how throughout the story, Revavroom is outfitted to different Starmobiles, and those serve as like unique boss battles where you can't status them. They're just kind of there's just kind of like super versions of Revavroom. They also don't have Revaroom's Poison Steel type, which is a cool typing anyways. So I think this is a good Pokemon. I'm gonna put in low good. It's a definitely step up. Now, oh god, Mousehold. Mousehold is fucking brilliant. The fact that it evolves without you knowing, like, the way that Mousehold evolves, I think, is you level up and has a chance to add something to its family. So it goes from 2 mouses to 3 mouses to 4 mouses, which is its real name. If you're a Vinesauce watcher, you might know that. It's a new favorite. It's a fantastic to use Pokemon. It's got great abilities. Population Bomb is a goofy ass, fun to use move. So I'm gonna put in U faves. Satidin is good. That's Satotl. And I'll put Satidin in great. I think Satidin is something where the design is fine to me. I actually just kind of like its gameplay a lot as well, where it gets Thick Fat, Slush Rush, and Sheer Force. All great abilities. It's got a whopping 170 HP and 113 attack. Its defenses aren't that great, but those two together, and the fact that it gets Slush Rush makes it like a premier snow Pokemon, and snow is so much more interesting than hail in this gen. So it's cool. I like it mechanically a lot. We'll put it around here. Let's save Orthworm. Frigibax, right? Where are you at on this Cerebi tier list? Am I Am I good on the recording? Yes, I am. What the fuck? Where are you, dude? After the Paradox Pokemon? No. There you are. It's Frigibax, Arctibax, and Baxcalibur. Frigibax is good. I like how it has this stupid ice teeth. Its typing is immediately appealing. Arctibax is better. Baxcalibur is awesome. This is such a cool pseudo-legendary. It's got interesting typing with Dragon Ice, not necessarily a good typing. Its design is great, very Godzilla. And this isn't the only Godzilla Pokemon in this gen. I would say there's two at least. And it's cool that it gets Glaive Rush as a unique move. The way Glaive Rush works, it's 120 base power. And whoever you hit does double damage to you next turn. Now, if you kill it, that doesn't matter. If you protect next turn, you get rid of that issue. So it's just really fun to use in VGC as well. And it gets both Ice Body, which heals it in the snow, and Thermal Exchange, which I want to say boost its attack if it gets hit by a fire move. Now it still takes the damage from the fire move, but it's Dragon Ice, so it's taking neutral from fire. Fire's popular from like Torkoal and shit, so overall really fun to use. Tatsugiri we'll do Dodonzo Tatsugiri now. God, this is such an interesting pair, right? Tatsugiri, first of all, super cute. It's got different forms. It's a bunch of little sushi Pokemon. It can inflate its like chest to look like sushi rice. That's sick as fuck. The thing that makes Tatsugiri special is that it can combine with the Dodonzo, go inside its fucking mouth, and pilot like a warship. And when you do that, you're controlling one Pokemon, but it's taking up 2 slots in VGC. But it also doubles every single one of the Dodonzo's stats. And the Dodonzo's abilities let it so it ignores opponents' other stats, or it can't get its stats lowered, or it can't get confused. Weird things like that. The thing with this is, like, this is such a polarizingly good Pokemon in competitive that I could see people hating it, but I think this is a brilliant idea. It's super well executed. I'm going to put both of them into new faves. What a cool fucking idea, man. And they're super strong. They're some of the best Pokemon in the format, and I hope that they remain that way even when we add Paradox Pokemon and the legendaries and whatever DLC Scarlet Violet's going to have. Oh, what are these little fucks called? I know Palmot's the last one. This is Palmy, Palmo, Palmot. Lame-ass names. They all go in low good. They're barely different from one another. I will give Palmot the top billing here among the three. I like its hair, anime-ass hair. It's also cool that it gets Revival Blessing. That's what it's called. It also gets Volt Absorb, Iron Fist. That's kind of interesting because I think Plasma Fist is a move it gets, so it might get boosted by that. Revival Blessing lets you revive an ally. And this is a fast Pokemon at 105 base speed, so it's a pretty interesting use case of it. Then you have Kilowattrel and Wattrel. When I first saw these guys, I thought this was genuinely a Tailo alternative form. Tailo and Swellow are some of my favorite Pokemon. Now, I'm going to put Wattrel down here. Kilowattrel goes into Great. This is kind of maybe controversial. The reason why I would put it in Great is that it's got a really interesting use case in competitive where all of its abilities are good. It gets Wind Power, Volt Absorb competitive. So Wind Power is a new ability. It gets a boost if it gets hit by air attack, like a wind-based attack. Volt Absorb is, of course, good. It just gets to absorb electric attacks. Competitive boosted special attack if it loses a stat, so it's good against Intimidators. Overall, it's just weirdly good in VGC. I love seeing teams with it. And I also think, like, with the weirder Pokemon in this gen, like Wiglet and Nimble, it's just kind of cool when a Pokemon is just a cool looking bird. I know some people complain, it's like, oh, this gen's got too many birds. Sometimes you just need a cool looking ass animal, and this is what that is. Then you have Cyclizar. Cyclizar is high good. It's got lore going for it, where it is a predecessor and ancestor to Koraidon and Miraidon. It's got a cool move in Shed Tail where it gets to sub out for another Pokemon and leaves a sub on the field. So I hope this gets some use competitively in the future. I don't like its design very much, though. Bombardier, I do like the design. It's cool to have a Stork Pokemon. It's cool that it was a Titan. It's weird that it's like Dark type. It stores rocks in its like Stork pouch and then drops them. I think that's pretty neat. It's a cool, like, basic looking Pokemon. I like it quite a bit. I put Squawkabilly in good tier. Hey, what are you doing, Wattrel? Squawkabilly is over here. I picked my favorite color of the bunch. I think they all function the same. Basically, I like how it's a Pompadour, and I like how it's an Intimidate, and that's about it. It's a cool parrot Pokemon. Flamingo gets a lot of shit. It's just a Flamingo, right? But you know what? This Flamingo gets that move where it copies its ally stat boosts. Or it's not a move, it's an ability. I think that's pretty cool. I also think it's pretty fucking dumb. So, in a fun way. So it goes into low good. Cloth is great. I fucking love Cloth. High great. It's just a pure rock type with a very unique ability where when it goes into low health, it does a mini Shell Smash, and I think that's really cool. Then we have... Okay, I'm going to need to look up these guys' names. I know one's Knackle and the other is Knacklestakla or whatever. We got Knackley, Knacklestack, Garganackle? Garganackle, right, okay. When I first saw these Pokemon, I wasn't really feeling it. They're Minecraft salt mushrooms. I think it's cool that they made a salt Pokemon. I think Purifying Salt is a cool move. Or, sorry, cool ability. They can't be affected by status effects. They also have a cool move called... I want to say it's like Salt Purge or something. Basically, it just does... percent damage every turn, so it's like a bonus status effect, and it deals extra damage to water and steel types. Hey, that is a brilliant way to nerf two of the strongest types in the game. And it's got hella defense. Let's see here. It's got 100 defense, 100 attack, 130... 100 HP, 100 attack, 130 defense. So this is a tanky boy when it's fully evolved. You are fine. Knackle Stack, I would say, is a miss. I think this is a weird crafting table. Garganackle is fine, but lower than the mushroom. I like its pyramid design. Ultimately, I could see myself using it competitively. It's got a lot of cool attributes, and I don't hate how it looks. But I don't love how it looks either, so it can go in fine. We have Glamora and... Oh, God. Who the fuck are you? Glimmet. Couldn't find Glimmet to save my fucking life in my playthrough. I had to breed a Glamora. These are rock poison types with corrosion, which lets them poison steel types. But they, more importantly, get a new ability called Toxic Debris, which whenever they get hit, they lay down one layer of toxic spikes. I want to see more of this Pokemon because I think entry hazards are used in singles a lot, so this is definitely a singles Pokemon. They're not really used in competitive ranked a lot, but I feel like getting hit as an entry, like as a trigger for them, makes it pretty interesting, and it makes you think like, what if you have a Glamora? You throw down toxic spikes, you get hit, boom, you already have a double layer. Granted, like, it's not going to do that much, but with each VGC Pokemon packing Protect, that gives you a bunch of turns to stall out the toxic and get a bunch of residual damage without having to worry. All in all, I hope to see more of these Pokemon. I think they look sick. I actually really like how Champion Jita, that's her name, her ace Pokemon is this. So we'll say that Glimmet is a good Pokemon, and Glimora is great. Above Oinkalong and here. We'll put it here. Very, very cool. Like, Rock and Poison type, so wacky. Oh, what the fuck are you called? You are Shroodle. Shroodle sucks. Shroodle just looks stupid. Whatever. Grafify is great. I love the way it looks. It's a wacky psychedelic monkey. I like its long ass finger that it uses to paint. But more importantly, it gets Prankster. So Prankster lets it act first with non-attacking moves. And it gets a cool new move where it gets to change its own and its opponent abilities with an opponent's ability. So this lets you override Truant on Slay King. I was theory crafting some naughty shit where you override Mycelium Power or Mycelin Power, whatever it's called, on the Tentacruel, Toadscruel, the new Tentacool, whatever it's called. If you override that, I think it becomes a lot better with its 100 base speed and Spore. So some cool shit you can do with this Pokemon, and I think because of that, it's pretty cool. Oh god, Dash Bun and Fido. These are cute as fuck. At first I was like, oh man, food Pokemon are just messed up, so I don't know if I want new ones. No, I love these little guys, and I like how Dash Bun's ability of well-baked body allows it to just be immune to fire moves and raise its own defense. It's cool both thematically and it's been useful in terror raids. So overall, I think they're both awesome, and they look cute as hell. Then you have Mastiff and Mabostiff. Now, Mastiff, as it's called, is tough. It looks like it's always constipated, as Tyler has pointed out to me. And he's right. I think that's kind of fun. I think it's like a punk who's always trying to mean mug you, but it's kind of cute in that way. So I'm going to say Mastiff is good. Low good is fine for me. I'll move Wattrel down a little bit. Mabostiff, look, let's be honest. Anyone who's played through the story knows that Mabostiff's one of the best utilized Pokemon in the franchise as far as storytelling is concerned. Not to mention it looks dope. It gets Guard Dog and Stakeout as abilities. Guard Dog, Stakeout, one of them is like an anti-intimidate. It also gets intimidate. The other one is like doubles damage to target's replacement if the target switches out. So the other one's an anti-switch out. So it's kind of like a pursuit variant. And the other one is boost its attack if it's intimidated. Move and items that would force the Pokemon to switch out also fail to work. It's got really cool, unique abilities that are relevant for VGC. It's got decent stats. So I would love to see a cool team built around this guy. I would put him in awesome. Oh god, there's an end to the road. We got Bramblin and Brambleghast. This is a grass ghost type with Wind Rider. Wind Rider is cool because it's an even better version of Kilowattrel's Wind Power, where I think it just works for more abilities. Importantly, it works for Tailwind, which is one of the most popular abilities in the game, moves in the game. So the way it works is if it gets hit by a wind attack, it takes no damage, and it gets a boost in its attack, and that applies for Tailwind. So I think this thing's underutilized. It's frail as fuck, but it's pretty good. It's got a good speed, 90, and it's got good attack, 115. It's got cool typing. I will say, though, I think Bramblin looks cooler than Brambleghast. I was actually kind of disappointed when the evolution was just kind of like a coloring change to the tips, and the eyes are a little more detailed. I kind of like the more simplistic Bramblin design, if we're being honest. I'll put Bramblin in great and Bramblegast in high good. Below Cyclozar. I like Cyclozar's the substitute move, whatever it's called. We're going to do Earthworm now. When I first saw this Pokemon, I thought it was one of the hardest misses in all of Pokemon history. It looks like a Mario enemy. I think it looks incredibly stupid. Hate the way this fucking thing moves. The thing is, and this is where me being a competitive player kind of hurts me in this list a little bit. As stupid as this thing looks, it gets access to a very cool ability called Earth Eater, I think. And what it does is it's like a Volt Absorb, Water Absorb, but for ground attacks. It gets to heal HP off of getting hit by ground moves. Now, this is a Steel type, which already gives it like 13 resistances. And Steel's only weak to 2 types, or three types. Fighting, Fire, and Earth. So when you take out that Earth weakness with Earth Eater, it's only weak to 2 types, and it's got very high defense stats. So it's actually pretty usable and unique. It's got unique stuff going for it mechanics-wise, which is clearly, if you made it this far in the video, you see that I appreciate that. But it's so fucking dumb. It's fine. It's low fine. I can't believe this thing has grown on me just because of gameplay mechanics. Design-wise, this is the worst Pokemon I think they've ever made design-wise. Like, straight up, the worst design-wise. It is completely saved by gameplay. That's crazy that it saved 2 tiers by... That might be a little much. We'll revisit this later. This is, Gimmighoul. Right? Gimmighoul? Where the fuck are you? Gimmighoul and Goldango. We're just gonna rank the chess Gimmighoul. That's the one you're gonna run into in your game. It's a cool ghost type. I think its eyes have that issue that it's got going on. I like how it's a mimic Pokemon. They've only done that with Voltorb and the Amoonguss family in the past, I think. So that's pretty cool. However, let's be honest. This is the star of the show. Goldango's awesome. Goldango is broken. It's got great stats. It's got an insane typing, Steel and Ghost. It's the 1,000 Pokemon, so it's got a fun evolution method where you have to get 1,000 Gimmighoul to evolve it. I think that's really clever for the 1,000th Pokemon. It moves really cool where it's a stack of golden coins, so it makes like a little surfboard out of golden coins to surf on. And it looks like a Jamaican string cheese. The more I talk about it, the more this is a new fave, potentially. And Make It Rain is such a busted move. It's got such a strong signature move. It's a spread move that's very strong with very little drawbacks. So I like Goldango. I'm glad it's as prevalent as it is. I think it's got a lot of things going for it. Wow, okay, this puts us at the Paradox Pokemon. Give or take it for you. Hold on. Hold on a second. First of all, let's change the music. I don't even know if the music's being picked up, but... There we go. We'll do some of that. We're not going to do the Paradox or the starters yet, or the legendaries. Which puts us at the Tinka line, I want to say. Tinka-Tink, Tinka-Tough, Tinka-Ton. Right. I think Tinka-Tink is a good execution of a goofy-looking cute Pokemon. I'd put it here. Here's fine. Here's fine, right? You got its evolution, which I think looks great. Tinka-Tough. I think it's already showing the potential of this evolution line. And then you have the star breakout of all of Gen 9. I see this requested as like a Pokemon and Pokemon Unite the most. This is the one that's got some of the most memes that I've seen. You got Tinkaton. And you know what? It's hard to argue with Tinkaton. This thing looks dope. It looks like it's such a little dumb brat. It's impossible not to love. Fairy Steel's a great type. It's got ass attack, but it's got an insane signature move, so you could get some use out of it. It's cool how it crafts its own hammers. It's a great idea for a steel fairy type. I like how many memes you see about how much this thing hates Corviknights, even though apparently in a 1v1 Corviknight just walls it completely. And you know what? That'd be perfect. Why wouldn't this stupid brat pick a fight with a Pokemon that's better than it and beats it all the time? It's just perfect. I completely get the Tinkaton hype. It's not one of my favorites by any means. I put it here. No, I put it. The more I think about it, I'd put it here. Okay, it's pretty fucking good. Whatever, man. Everybody loves Tinkaton. I don't have to explain myself. Charcadet sucks. Charcadet, I think, looks stupid. It's too humanish looking, and not in a fun way like some of the other Pokemon that y'all complain about, like my boy Inteleon, like Scorbunny. You guys bitch too much. Whatever. This thing looks stupid. I like how... whatever. I'm not going to talk about Charcadet. What I will talk about is two new favorite candidates in its evolutions with Armor Rouge and Cerulege, right? Both are really cool. What is Armor Rouge's ability, actually? Hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, also doing some music management. Armor Rouge they both get Flash Fire and Weak Armor. Wow, no one runs Weak Armor on these. The difference is one's Fire Psychic and the other's Fire Ghost. They also have different signature moves where Armor Rouge gets like a special close combat fire type move. Cerulege gets a really unique one where it heals more. It heals 50% of an 80 base power fire move. It's kind of fucking crazy. Or it might be Ghost. Regardless, that's a really good signature move. They have very similar stats. One, it's just basically attack versus special attack. And they both look like Mega Man EXE characters. I'm surprised to say that I've come around on Armor Rouge above Cerulege. So I'd actually put them as both some of my favorites. Oh my god, why did the music just pop off? Both are some of my favorites of the gen. And I'd put them here. Armor Rouge has overtaken... When I first saw them, I thought Cerulege would be my favorite, but in animation and in usage, Armor Rouge is both more useful and looks cooler. Armor Rouge also gets Expanding Force, which is a crazy good psychic move. So I've been seeing more of that lately, and I've just grown to like it more. You got Toad School, and, hold on. What's the other one called? I just called it out. Toad School and Toad School. Okay, no wonder I forgot. When you see a Toad School for the first time, it's a magical experience. This shit, it looks so dumb. It's just running with its little legs. It's so proud to be on the ground. Ground Grass is a cool type. I think this is a great Pokemon. And Toad School... I'll put it below Toad School, right? What's interesting about these guys is their Mycelium Might ability is actually kind of bad. They can basically spore you regardless of ability. I don't think it cares about type. So if you're a grass type, you'd still be ignored, or you would still ignore Spore. And I think this also might apply to Toxic. Let's see. Let's double check here. Mycelium Might. If the Pokemon uses a status move, it will move last in the speed bracket, but its moves aren't affected by ability. So it's only about ability, so that's kind of weird, right? Because it would only apply to Insomniac Pokemon for Spore, or Poison Heal for Poison, I guess? I don't even know. The point is, though, I think there's something to be explored with this guy as far as, like, using Graphi's sketch ability on it to remove its kind of nerfing ability, because it's really fast. It's got 100 base speed and Spore. So you could run it as like a tanky, speedy Spore if you can get rid of that ability. And that sounds kind of good. So, out of what I'm cooking, this would be the team that I would make. Is something based around that and Slay King and a Graphi. But regardless, I think it's a pretty cool to use Pokemon. It looks pretty cool as well. King's Gambit. I had no fucking idea. Like, I didn't watch the trailers for this game, but this is the last thing I expected. King's Gambit looks cool. It's got a cool ability. It's strong. It's getting some usage. It goes right there in one of the best awesome Pokemon in the tier list. Its ability base, it's got two good abilities. Defiant, which raises stats if it gets a stat lowered. So good against Intimidate and such, and Icy Wind and Bulldoze. You could probably Bulldoze this with Weakness Policy and just go off, but that's besides the point. It also gets that ability that raises its stats by 10% for each Pokemon that's fallen, so it's kind of what I was mentioning with Houndstone and those mechanics that kind of pop off when you've lost Pokemon. I think that's pretty cool. Clodsire is great. I mean, everybody loves Clodsire. Never seen it in competitive. It was very good for my playthrough. My playthrough had a randomized team, so Clodsire came in through clutch. One more, right? Annihilate. Really? Oh man, Annihilate is awesome. There's no other way to put it. Just how awesome it is. I'll put it at the bottom of awesome. It's a very interesting evolution to Primeape. It also lets Primeape equip a Eviolite now, which is pretty cool. Now that it's got same with B-Sharp and King's Gambit. Never would have expected a Primeape evolution. This is where Pokemon gets it right. They just pick a fucking rando and they're like, hey, we're gonna give it a sick-ass evolution. And guess what? It's super good for competitive. It is one of the fastest Pokemon that gets Final Gambit, which means you can Scarf it, and it'll kill anything that has less HP than it instantly. It also gets an incredibly unique move with Rage Fist that also comes with a unique evolution method. And Rage Fist powers up every time it's taking damage in the battle. So I think it can go up to like 300 BP. That's pretty sick. Really cool design Pokemon in both gameplay and visuals. Okay, that's all of them. God, this has gone on for longer than I thought. I was like, hey, I have no idea what to expect. This could go fast, this could go slow. Being that I play VGC, I have more to talk about these fuckers than I thought I would. Sprigatito line. Sprigatito's good. Hold on, let me change the song here. Sprigatito is good. I always forget the second one's name, but I'm sure a lot of people do. Florgato is... It's funny because Florgato is awesome. It's actually high awesome. I love how Florgato looks. The thing is, as soon as I saw this thing, you're an idiot if you think this was going to stay on 4 feet. If you didn't think this was going to become a Puss in Boots of some sort, you're in copium. You're trying too hard to make these Pokemon be quadrupedal. I'm sorry, I'm just saying. So given that, I thought this was a great execution of what I knew would happen. And Meowscarada is my favorite starter to use in competitive. So I'd actually put it right here. I know some people are like, oh, this Pokemon's too furry. It's like, shut up. It's just a cool magician cat, alright? That's all that matters to me. Fuecoco, alright, look, listen, I never saw the Fuecoco hype, I'm gonna be honest. And Crocolar, I didn't like Crocolar at first. I like how it's had as a nest. That's pretty cute. I'll put it at the bottom of good. Scaladurge, I did not like it first. I've grown on it considerably. I'd actually put top of great. I do like how its I was just talking about, hey, you bitch too much about bipedal Pokemon. Well, here you go. Here's a cool quadrupedal Pokemon. It does look very different from other fire types. The one thing that's, and it also looks like a Mexican, like, sugar candy. But that's a problem, and we'll get to that in a second as well. This is Spain, not Mexico. I don't know how much de los Muertos tracks in Spain. So I don't know if thematically it's there. But its signature move is also so cool. I've grown on this thing a lot. Bottom of awesome. Quaxley has always been great. Quaquaval is below Quaxley, but it's pretty good. The thing with Quaquaval, I didn't really like it at first. Or Quaxwell, rather. I didn't really like it at first. I like... and this is stupid. I like that advertisement that's in the Electric City where it shows Quaquaval. I was like, hey, that could be my little picture avatar in the game. So he looks pretty stylish there, advertising his hair products or whatever the fuck he's doing. Quaquaval, right? If you don't like Quaquaval, you're a homophobe. So that's on you. But I will say, Quaquaval's got his issues. He's got a weird dumpy. That ass is too fat. I do have a problem with that as far as Pokemon goes. I love everything else. I love how it dances. I love its attack animations. I love its signature move. This is a very interesting decision. I know people wanted a sailor bird, but I think dancing bird is cool as well. The thing that keeps this from going into awesome is the fact that this is clearly a Brazilian carnival dancer, but this region is fucking Spain. Why? I guess they're never gonna do Brazil. They're looking at a drawing board. They're like, fuck Brazil. Only the smiling friends go there. We're not doing a region there. Let's do Quaquaval now, and that's kind of lame. I feel like it was in a more appropriate region, so I'm gonna put it in top of great. That's fair. It does end up being the lesser of the three fully evolved because of that alone, I think. And we're on to the paradoxes. Okay. Shit, I gotta speed this up. I don't really know what these guys do competitively very much, so fuck it. We'll go fast. I think Great Tusk looks awesome. This awesome, roughly. I think Brute Bonnet looks lame, but it's cool that we have a dark Spore user with worse typing, but it can't get prankstered. And I know that's cool. But honestly, that's just like a cool aspect of it mechanically. I think it's just... I think the past... Everyone complains about the futuristic Pokemon looking lame because they're all robots. But I like to think it's like, oh, we're so far in the future where all of them have adapted some form of cybernetic exoskeleton to be better. And I think that's more interesting. Sandy Shocks is weak. Top of weak, but that's just a weak Pokemon. And so Fluttermane. Fluttermane's bottom of week. You want to gas up these past Paradox Pokemon. I think Fluttermane's not the way to do it. However, shit, I'm talking... This is Screaming Tail. Fluttermane is this one. And Fluttermane looks fucking sick. And not only is it fucking sick, but I think mechanically it's one of the most popular ones that I saw used in that first week there when we thought Paradoxes would be used. It's awesome, man. I'm just trying to figure out where. I would put it like here. That's a great Pokemon. Volcarona's got two, which is... The Volcarona of this gen is pretty nutty. This one is the Fighting Bug one called Slitherwing. I think Slitherwing looks cool. It's pretty wild to see it at the start of the Sada battle for those that played that. What the fuck is that? Low awesome. Roaring Moon is high awesome. The highest awesome that we have in the list. This thing is fucking sick. So's Iron Treads. I like how it's kind of like a rotating treads, that it's got like a centerpiece that moves around it. That's pretty cool. I do like Great Tusk more by one slot. Oh shit, man. This is Iron Moth, yeah? Yeah, Iron Moth is a new favorite. Just dead ass. This thing looks sick. Fire poison, so weird. Like, what are those? What kind of liquids in those wings? I don't know, man. It's cool. We got Iron Hands. Iron Hands is good. It's awesome. It's the bottom of awesome. I like how it's got detachable hands. I also really like how this thing sleeps. And in Terra raids, it's clutch as hell. Iron Jigulus is very cool. I think it's awesome, but I'm actually going to put it in top of great. I think it's not that different from Hydreigon. And I think Flying Dark is just kind of a weird typing for it. I don't know. It might grow on me. I like the color of its mane, though. I also don't know what a Jugulus is. Iron Thorns is the best Pokemon on the list. Yeah, I can live with that. It's probably not going to be very good because Tyranitar is so good. But this thing just looks sick. It's Mecha Godzilla. It's perfect. It looks so fucking sick. I am just a huge fan of it. It's such a sleek exoskeleton to that Tyranitar look. It's a fantastic execution. Iron Bundle is also a new favorite. Delibird is already a goofy, fun Pokemon. I've always wished that it got some usage. Meanwhile, Iron Bundle is people complain about this thing. It's really good. Its stats are nuts. It gets crazy moves. Ice Water is not a bad typing. Very, very cool Paradox Pokemon. Oh god, we're almost done here. Iron Valiant is right below. No. It's lower than that. It's like... It's like here. Iron Valiant's really cool for being Gender the Pokemon, where it's both aspects of Gardevoir and Gallade. And as a final Pokemon for the game, I think it's an awesome final boss. It's just, I don't fully... Well, but then again, it gets like a double blade Darth Maul C from Trails of Cold Steel style. I think it looks sick, actually. It's an awesome. I shouldn't feel bad for putting it awesome. I guess I just feel bad for not putting it higher, but I think that's a good spot for it. Finally got the legendaries. Ting-Lu is new fave. This guy's awesome. I hope to build a team around him. He's super tanky. I lucked out to get a 1 speed IV Ting-Lu, which I didn't luck out. I used my Master Ball on this bitch because I knew he might need Trick Room teams later. He's just cool. I like the dish in his head. This one, Chi-Yu, is probably my least favorite, but he's still great. I like the Magatama eyes. They're weird, but, you know, looking at it again, and I know this is going to be one of the best ones because Beads of Ruin is a really good ability to make it just murder its opponents because it's lowering their special defense. I'm going to put it bottom of awesome. The Magatama eyes and the Firefish is such an interesting design. I feel like if I make some teams or rent some teams where I use it, it would go up in my list, just from exposure. This is Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao looks dope. I like how it has fangs that are 2 different swords. I think one's maybe a hilt as well. It's like, I don't know, that is such an interesting way to design its fangs, and it's cool that it's like a long cat-like thing. Dark Ice is cool. God, this might be the best set of legendaries in the series, if we're being honest. And honestly, he's not even low awesome. I'd put him above even the Donphan evolutions here, or future types. And I also really like Wo-Chien. Wo-Chien was the first one I encountered. I think it's a cool slug fucker. This is probably the one that people are going to use the least. Dark Grass is pretty cool, though. I quite like it. Which leaves us to 2. Fuck, okay, yeah, this went on a long time. What time is it? Oh my god, this was like over an hour. We got Koraidon Miraidon. Shit, man, they're both some of the best legendaries they've ever made. I'm gonna put them both at top of awesome. The Koraidon would be a fave if it used its wheels instead of running around like a dumb dinosaur. That's the only thing I can go against it. I think it looks sick. I saw some insane fan art for it. Miraidon looks incredible, and I actually put it above him. The thing with Miraidon is, in the story, when he's eating sandwiches, because they don't, like, in my mind, future Paradox Pokemon are cyborgs. They still have, like, organic aspects inside of them. But that's just my headcanon. That's probably not true. So when he's, like, fiending for sandwiches, it feels worse. So, like, the story makes more sense in Violet, but that is the one caveat I would put where it makes a little more sense in Scarlet. But regardless, this is my list. Holy shit. A couple of straight misses in this gen, if we're being honest, and a good chunk of weak Pokemon. But a lot of the Pokemon, especially the later evolutions, fall in the good, great, awesome category, which is kind of what I expect. I don't think this is as good of a region as 7 or 8, but I think it's a fairly strong region. This was a solo endeavor, but it was fun to do. Before I started this, I didn't think about where I would put any of these. And you forget some of these exist until you do these lists, if we're being honest. I was looking at them, I was like, yeah, I do like that guy. So this was fun to do. It's a definitive how I feel a month or two off of the game's release. This is subject to change as I use them more, as I look at them more. But I think this is pretty close to how I like it. So, if you listen to all this, thanks for watching. Let me know which Pokemon are your favorites and least favorites from this gen. I'll catch you later.